he was running right behind Unger, and he was being very effective when he was running that football. Okay. Now, Ingram this year, he only gets 14.3 touches per game. How can you be effective as a running back with only 14.3 touches per game? He only has 334 yards. He's attempted rushes at, I think, is 86 attempted rushes for the whole year. And we've played, 6 games? That's not enough, man. That is not enough for a guy of his caliber. If you thought enough to be able to have this guy number one, give him the ball. If you don't think he should have the ball, give the ball to a Hightower. It just is perplexing. Go ahead, Professor.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, Kyle, at all. I'm just saying that if what they say is true about the guys being better pass blockers, it just kind of shows what they want to do. They want to be a pass-first team, a pass-most-of-the-time team. And they're not looking for that hybrid offensive lineman that can both run block and pass block. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you at all on what you said. That's just
I'm not disagreeing with you either. And I think that is it has a certain amount of truth. I mean, very much.
I think
that's.
I agree with Remy. I think that's exactly what the Saints
are.
They are, as Brandon said earlier, they are what they are. The Saints are a throw first and a running back second, which means why in the world did you draft Mark Ingram if you knew Mark Ingram was not going to fit your system in the area of running? But what Mark Ingram does is a point that BB always makes. He fits the Saints passing game great because he's the best pass catcher that now with Sproles and Pierre being gone. Right. Unfortunately, he's not effective in a screen game like them, nor is he effective and elusive like Sproles. But in terms of receptions, what you get from Mark Ingram, you have to add his receiving yards with his running yards. And you said his running yards is what, 334?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
334. That puts him on pace once again for around 800 or 900 yards. And now you have to add probably another 400 if he stays healthy, 500 yards in the passing game. He's giving you 1,400 yards a year, and that's what BB is saying. He's being productive with the limited touches because at 1,400 yards a season, that's outstanding. And so that's what the conclusion has to be now with Ingram. So it's a combination of what Remy stated with the Saints in terms of what's first for them. It's a combination of what BB stated in terms of you have to add and look at Mark Ingram's production in the passing game. He's going to get you 50 receptions for probably 350 to 400 yards. He's going to get you on pace for 800 or 900 yards. He'll wind up being about 1,400 yards.
Okay, so
and
right now,
NFL today.
But right now, Professor, let's say, and you're good at the numbers, so he's caught the ball 22 times for 154 yards in 6 games. So what do you?
That's on pace for 400 something yards receiving, and that's on pace for him finishing with 800 something yards running because he's averaging 80 runs for 339. He's averaging, unfortunately, he's not averaging a lot in the games. But in 6 games, he's averaging a little over 50 yards a game in the run game. That's going to put him at 900 rushing, and he's averaging 122. That's 20 yards a game in passing, and that's going to put him at another probably 320. 320 plus that he'll finish between 12 to 1,400 yards, depending on a couple of games. He's probably going to have outstanding games, depending on the defense. So he's averaging in contributions somewhere between 1,200 to 14. The problem that I personally have with Mark, because I really like Mark Ingram a lot, is his inability to stay healthy. After week 10 or 11, Mark Ingram has the propensity of getting injured every year. And that's why his numbers look so bad, because he misses 4, 5, 6 games every year. And that's why you can't get the complete analysis on Mark Ingram in terms of a complete year, because unfortunately Mark has not stayed healthy for a full year. Now, what the Saints are missing in their offense, that's why the trade of Darren Sproles has killed this team. Darren Sproles on the team, you beat the Raiders because you score more than 34 points. You would not have kicked 2 field goals. When you look at the Saints games, there are many drives that stall between the opponent's 40 and the Saints 40 because the Saints on 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4 on those passes that would normally go to Darren Sproles, they may wind up going to Mark Ingram and he gets tackled, whereas Darren Sproles is elusive. He gets first down to sustain a drive. And that's the difference.
You might like this, Professor. I'm going to leave with this because I got to get going. But, and you guys can talk about this, I have a few sources that say that Sean Payton is very high on Christian McCaffrey, the scat back from Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could you guys imagine having McCaffrey and Ingram in that offense? And that's what I'll leave with. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, Doc. Take care.
Take care, BB. Well, the thing is, your offense is going to score 30 points a game, and that's all I think the Saints offense is missing. Unless Daniel Lesko has that, I don't know where the Saints will have room for another run. I still say Marcus Murphy needs to be given a shot in that Darren Sproles role. They have not tried it yet, and this is my problem with Coach Payton. Because you have that type of back that you have not even given him a chance to play that role. You may not need McCaffrey because the Saints don't need any more offensive players. They need talent on defense. You know, this issue with the Saints offense on the road, that's a coaching and a discipline issue where this team gets intimidated when they go in hostile environments. Because that's what I see now. When they go on the road, the team just starts playing even Drew doesn't look the same. He had great numbers, great numbers, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a lot of yardage, but they left, like Remy stated, all of these drives that are incomplete. Every game, the Saints lead about 2 or 3 drives at midfield or at their own 45 or at the opponent's 45.
Yeah, well, we left five drives on the field in Kansas City, man. And I agree with you, man. I agree with you, and I think we can belabor the point all day long, but the bottom line is you've got to be able to start making a conscious effort because Drew is 37. He'll be 38 January, right? So you want to keep him, and he's performing at a great level right now. But why do you want to keep your quarterback potentially being in harm's way instead of utilizing that tool that you have in an Ingram or a Hightower or like a Marcus Murphy or Lasco's injured? But, you know, some of those guys that you could be able to play in those roles to see how you could be able to utilize them. I don't think Cadet this year has been as effective as they thought he was going to be. As far as the screen,
nothing against him. He should not. Travaris Cadet should not. Who did he make the team over?
Spiller.
Who did they get rid of?
Spiller.
Nope. Travaris Cadet should not have made the team over Spillers. He is nowhere, even with C.J. Spillers' struggles, he's nowhere near the level of a Spillers, you know, potentially had. But he is a steady player, and that's why I think he's on the team. But Travaris Cadet has played long enough in the Saints system that he should be much more effective than what we're getting. He ended last season, you know, kind of effective, and now this year, you know, the Saints are a mystery team to me right now. They're a team they just cannot get their act together. They cannot get their act together at all, and I just go back to my statement from last year and this year. The era of Coach Payton is up. It's up. We won a Super Bowl. We've made playoffs. We made our run. We're grateful, thankful, and very appreciative to everything Coach Payton has done. I think Coach Payton has done everything he can do with the Saints. Now, you know, nobody can overcome 10 key players hurt on defense. That's impossible. And I was still very proud of the defense, how they've played in 3 games, the Giants game, as well as this Kansas City game and the San Diego game, because the Saints would really be 1 and 5,
Yeah.
and the opening of the first half of the Carolina and Raiders game. As injury bugs as we had, this defense has showed up in gaps. But when your offense goes into this robust state after they score on the first drive, like you stated, Kyle, which I have been saying for years, the Saints score points in bunches. They do not play consistently for 4 quarters. And now that's coming to haunt them. You only score 7 points in the first half? No, the Saints are not a comeback team. They're not that team anymore where they can come from behind like they did in that Miami game in the Super Bowl year or that Washington game. This is not the same. This is not the same New Orleans team. The Saints get behind 21-7 double digits. They're not coming from behind. They don't have that kind of team. Drew's going to start forcing. You're going to start getting turnovers and everything. I thought on that Mark Ingram fumble, I remember Frank and I were watching. I say on first down they need to throw it, catch him off guard. You've been saying it, Kyle. It's too predictable when Mark Ingram is in the game on first down. They know what you're going to do, Coach Payton. That is so predictable. It's too predictable. So that, even though Ingram was the cause of the fumble, also I attribute Pete Carmichael or Coach Payton, whoever called that play, because I would have taken them off guard because Ingram can play in the pass game. I would have passed it on first down. I would have just tried to do something a little different.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know what they're going to do, but this looks like to me a team, honestly, guys, 5 wins, 6 wins maybe.
Well, Vegas has these guys projected win-loss at 7 wins for the season. Chances of possibly winning the division, 10%. Chances of making the playoffs right now at 12%. And look, it's not even a 1% chance of making the Super Bowl. It's below 1% chance.
Well, at least we got a percent. We got some type of percent.
No, you don't even have a percent. All right, man. Michael Thomas had a great game, man. We have to applaud the rookie on what he was able to do with 130 yards. And he caught 10 catches on Sunday. We see that the young man is becoming the breakout wide receiver in the NFL that we believe he would be. Right now, he has 36 catches for 437 yards this season, which is tied for the rookie league in the NFL. And he also, at this point of his career, is ahead of where Marcus Colston was his rookie season. Pretty interesting. So congratulations to him, man. And I've got to say this, and I think Remy, I think it was you earlier, Thomas Morstead, man. Wow.
All pro level. He's been picking all pro this year.
That's all I got to say. Wow, man. He's healthy. You can see it. Those punts.
All pro level.
I think he's averaging, 48 point something yards per punt. Man, wow. Just awesome
not
to
only
have
that,
a guy
man, his
like him.
placement of those punts is just amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Man.
Phenomenal.
I got to applaud him.
This is an example of how you have to let these players grow. You can't get rid of players in a rookie contract. Like you see how Kenny Vaccaro is growing in his 4th year.
Yeah.
You see, you cannot down. Even Mark Ingram began to peak in his fourth year. You cannot look for these college players to be superstars rookie year, second year. That's not the type of players in the NFL anymore, fellas. And people don't understand that. That's why getting rid of Malcolm Jenkins was such a horrible move. Horrible move. He had just finished his rookie contract, and you got rid of him. That's what Coach Payton has got to realize. You got to realize you can't come and expect Davis Charles and Tyler Davidson and Bobby Richardson, these players to be superstars in year 1 or 2, and you just get rid of them. And so then you never have continuity until you're going out there thinking, I'm going to go get a veteran that comes from another system like Laurinaitis came from with a good front four, or what Ellaby came from with a good defense in front of him in Baltimore, and then you think you're going to put him in a Saints uniform and think that they're going to come in and play like they played with those teams that had a good front four? Not going to